welcome to Hooked on Utah. Today we've got a great snowy adventure for you. We're right here at the Skyline Snowmobile Complex. We've got a great crew. We're headed north on the Skyline Drive, and we're going to show you some of the fun trails that are easy to ride so you and your family can come up and enjoy one of the most beautiful parts of our state right here in Sanpete County on the Skyline Drive. So get a little cup of cocoa, sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's freezing cold snowmobile adventure.
Okay, what I want everyone to do is to take your transceiver or your avalanche beacon out and turn it to search. So you're going to be receiving a signal. It's going to take a second to get everybody into search. Just take your time. I'm going to go to send, and you guys are going to listen for my signal to fade as I walk away. At that point, you're going to put your beacons back to send, and you're going to put them in your jackets where they'll be for the rest of the day. And I'm going to listen for each one of your signals as you walk past me one at a time, okay? So here I go to send. All right, next person. We good? Yep. And we do this for each person in the group to make sure that the avalanche beacons are functioning properly in both search and send modes. Very important.
All right, so Kevin, we just kind of got off the trail. This is one of the first kind of easy spots for riding. Let's talk about what makes this trail system great for new people.
So this is, you're going along North Skyline Drive, and it's very flat. There's lots of open fields. You'll notice we're just going to play around in these fields a little bit. So if you're a beginner, it's a very easy place to snowmobile. You don't have to go do heavy, steep hill climbs and so forth.
Yeah, it's very comparable to other places in the state. However, the parking is better than any place else I've seen. And the trails so far are fantastic, and I love all the open, and they do have them marked. So if you want a nice, fun ride, this is the place to come. We're gonna go play for a little bit and see how it goes. All right, I'm here with Brett Kobernick. Now, Brett, you've been with us before. You are the Utah Avalanche forecaster.
Correct.
What does that mean?
Well, I put out public avalanche forecasts for the Manti Skyline area mountains. and those are put out every morning by about 7 o'clock, and those forecasts contain information for folks to use to understand what the avalanche dangers are before they go out in the mountains. So once they get out in the mountains, they have some ammunition on what to expect when they're out there.
Where do they find that information?
UtahAvalancheCenter.org is our website, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram also. You can just search for Skyline Avalanche on those two platforms.
Okay, before you come up, make sure you check it out so you know the current conditions. Now, I'm looking at what I see is called Chimera. Now, you've been with this before, but you were on a bike that you'd kind of built from scratch.
Yeah.
It was bad to the bone,
Yeah.
deep, rich thumper.
Yep.
This is a whole new iteration. What do we have going on?
Yeah, so the previous bike was a motorcycle power plant, and which was really fun. Like you say, kind of a really deep, grunty noise coming from that beast. This is a completely different thing. I'm starting with Snowmobile components for this machine here. It's basically a 2011 Polaris 800 Pro that I put the single ski on. So in other words, it's basically a single ski snowmobile. So I get the advantage of all the power of the snowmobile, the CV clutch, don't have to shift anymore. And boy, it's just such a nicer machine.
Yeah, and I noticed it's a motorcycle front end, and you've married it all together.
That's right. Yep. So it's a Yamaha front end and a Polaris back end. My buddies call it the Yamalaris.
Yamalaris, I like it. Here's the thing I notice about this machine. When we went with you last time, you had skis in case you broke down. No skis, so you feel comfortable with this.
Feeling pretty confident.
All right, show us what it'll do. Feeling pretty confident. This is where things go south. So tell me, does it feel as stable as a snowmobile, or, I mean, what do you think?
Well, it just depends on the conditions and whatnot. It's just a completely different ride. The thing I like about it is you can really maneuver this thing into some very unusual places where it's much more difficult to get a snowmobile into. That's why I personally like the single ski machines.
All right, I'm here with Cade Beck with Snow Big Deal. Now, Cade, first let's talk about, you guys offer some crazy cool stuff for snowmobiling.
Yeah, we specialize in avalanche safety, but then we kind of branched out into like anything you wear when you snowmobile.
Okay, so how do people get a hold of you if they want to take a look at what you've got and purchase some of your equipment?
They can find us on Facebook, Snow Big Deal, or else on our website, snowbigdeal.com.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. I was watching you sled, and you've got really good technique. In snow that's not as deep and powdery, what's the proper turning technique so you can really carve and turn and stay in control?
Well, so it really changes based on the snow. If it's a hard pack, I mean, it's kind of with your steering wheels and just leaning your hips. Once you get into the powder, that's when you have to really start shifting your body weight from one side to the other.
Okay.
So it's all shifting your body weight from one side of the sled to the other.
Give us a demonstration right here of just some turning techniques so people who are new to snowmobiling can kind of see how you should do it.
Okay, I'll try.
That's all we want.
This basically involved in the first avalanche on the Skyline. It was family place selling avalanche out of the Catholic furniture store. And that's how the business began.
And one thing to note, that once you get in the powder, you kind of counter steer. So if you want to turn right, you turn your handlebars left.
Okay.
It's kind of opposite of what you would think.
Now, I learned something new about your business. What got your business started?
Well, there was an accident up Pleasant Creek, and we unburied a friend who died in an avalanche. So my dad, he started looking to sell Avalanche equipment, and then we just started kind of growing from there. We sell all over the world now.
Okay, we'll talk more about this, but whatever your activity, you need to have the right gear, the right safety equipment. Be prepared for conditions that may not exist when you go out, but what may come in. You know, where it was sunny when we started, we've got snow rolling in. You need to be prepared when you're up here on the mountain. All right, so I got my sweetheart Julie with me.
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah, she's back. She didn't want to come because it was tennis day today, but we got her out on a sled. So I got to ask you, Julie, how long has it been since you snowmobiled?
I've never actually ridden one by myself. I rode on the back of yours, what, 15 years ago?
Been a long time. So what do you think so far on this trail system and riding a sled?
I wish it was sunny, but other than that, it's fun. I was scared, and I'm doing fine. Right now, I'm doing fine.
Trails are pretty easy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice and easy. So what do you think so far? This is a pretty powerful machine. What have you learned so far in riding as a newbie? Okay, she needs more time in the seat, apparently.
I need more time.
So, all right, it's easy. I mean, here my wife has really never run a sled before. The trail systems are so nice out here with a good equipment. You just have a good time. Got the safety equipment, we got her dressed warm, and just follow the leader, and it makes it really, really fun. And these other guys are getting off in the snow trees.
Gary didn't have me dressed warm. These other guys took care
That
of
is
me.
not
That's
true.
right.
Last night I told her layers, 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 and she was more fashion, fashion, fashion. Okay.
Oh, I am certainly not
and
about
fashion means freeze.
But yeah, I should have done something different, that's for sure.
But they took care of her. These guys got her all dressed up in extra gear and goggles and all kinds of fun stuff. All right, I'm here with John Lee. Now, John, you are the owner of Skyline Motorsports.
Yep.
And you guys do a couple of cool things. First, I want to ask you, it's winter, but I want to talk about summer because people want to come down here and ride. It's a big investment to initially buy your machine. You guys do some rentals.
We do some rentals. We bought new machines this year, some Polaris 1000s, 4-seaters. And yeah, you know, people are trying to get out of the city, get away from, you know, social distance, and they like to do that up here on the mountain. And we give them an opportunity without a whole lot of expense to come up and spend the weekend, tour the Skyline Drive, look at the, you know, see the trail, get some wonderful views, and we offer that experience at a reasonable price.
Yeah, there's nothing like the Arapeen Trail system. It's amazing. How do people get a hold of you if they want to come first check out a rental and maybe even purchase a machine?
Yeah, so SkylineMotorsports.com is our website, and then you can always call us, and that's what most people do. Just call us at 435-427-3900.
Okay.
And yeah, talk to one of us and we'll set you up.
Now, I want to ask you a question. For those that are watching, you're thinking, hey, I'd like to try my hand at snowmobiling. There's a lot of options out there in terms of machines.
Yeah.
What would you recommend based on your experience for a new snowmobiler to purchasing, you know, in terms of a good, friendly mountain machine?
So any of the brands that are producing machines right now are really good machines. I like to ride all of them. But I would start with a little bit, we're riding 850s. I would start with maybe a 600, and just so you can get out there and get the feel of it. And maybe find a way to ride with some buddies and figure out what you like and how you like to do it and what kind of riding style you like. Some people like to drink their hot chocolate while they're on the trail. Some people like to just hit the deep powder and they only come up when it's deep powder. So you want to kind of find out what you like, what you enjoy, and yeah, we can help you do that too.
Awesome. You know what? Give them a call at Skyline Motorsports or stop in and see them. They've got, you know, all types of cool gear, machines, trail machines for the summer. They'll get you set up, and I'll tell you what, there's no more beautiful place than right here on the Arapeen Trail system in the Skyline Drive in Sanpete County.
Okay, my name is Brett Kobernick, and I'm with the Utah Avalanche Center, a forecaster here on the Manti Skyline. I want to talk about Avalanche safety gear just a little bit. 3 components that are very important: Avalanche beacon, Avalanche shovel, Avalanche probe. You need all 3 of these things for a successful rescue. You can't just have the Avalanche beacon without the other equipment here. I'm going to show you why. If someone's buried in an avalanche, they're sending a signal, and you use your beacon to find that signal under the snow. So you use the beacon, and it'll bring in, and it'll tell you when you're getting closer to the buried victim. Once you're as close as the beacon will tell you, you won't be able to get any closer. The beacon will tell you that you've reached the closest spot. That's when you take out your Avalanche probe to do the pinpoint search. And at the strongest signal that you have on your beacon, you start to probe, and you insert the probe through the snowpack. And you continue to do this in a circular pattern from the strongest signal you had with your Avalanche beacon. And you continue to do this until you strike the person. And most of the time you'll know when you strike a person because the probe has a little bit of give to it when you hit a person's body or their gear. It feels much different than when you hit a rock or a stump underneath the snow. At that point, when you hit them, you leave the probe in place and you take your shovel and you dig down to them, and hopefully you can do that in rapidly, and you're able to uncover them while they're still breathing. You only have about 15 minutes to uncover someone successfully in an avalanche burial.
All right, I'm here with Tyler Schlappe. Now, Tyler, this is probably one of the most common things that people experience snowmobilers, but particularly newbies, getting stuck. And you know, when the snow is deep and lots of powder, getting stuck is very common. So let's talk about how you get out, because I've struggled. Everybody's left me. I've been stuck in a pine tree, and to get out, it almost kills you. So technique, you're stuck pretty good.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm really good at this, getting out, because I spend half my day stuck. So a couple thoughts. I always have a shovel, because if I'm by myself, you have to go to the shovel a lot of times. Where Gary's here and he's in peak performance, peak shape, he can help me get out, right, Gary?
Oh yeah.
He's not even breathing hard.
Yep.
So this one's kind of unique. There's 2 ways we can get this out. We can either tromp down one side, and Gary and I lift the back end over and put it on a hard pack track, or if you've noticed, all these new sleds don't have windshields anymore. That's because everybody now rolls their sled over to get unstuck. That's why they did away with windshields. So I think what we'll do, assuming Gary can get up here, but we're gonna roll this one out. You want to stay away from the base of pine trees where the snow doesn't settle and it gets super, super soft there.
And
so we're
deep.
Gonna try to go this way, yeah, and deeper. So on this one, a lot of times you just grab your mountain bar. I don't know if I'll be able to get this one by myself. I'll try.
I'll come help you if you can't.
But a lot of times you'll just stand on the side you're going to try to roll it over to, and then you just give it a yank. And eventually it'll break loose. Trample down. Both sides on the trample over here. Then it makes it a little easier to roll. A lot of times we'll move this snow away from where we're rolling.
This just shows you how much work goes into sledding when you get stuck.
So now we'll just scoot our little. Clear it out. 1, 2, 3. Out there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Commercial break.
We're going uphill.
You have no idea, at this altitude, about 9,000 feet, 10,000 feet, it sucks the oxygen out of you.
1, 2, 3. All right, and we're out. Thank you.
Woo! All of that in under 7 hours.
Now let's go get Gary unstuck.
Holy cow. Okay, so helmet, and you're ready to go. Now, is there a technique so you don't bury back down when you leave?
Yeah, but now that we're sitting on top, and I'm not going uphill too bad, a lot of times I'll just feather it at first, and then I kind of get on it to get my momentum going. And once in a while, you still have to do a ski pull. Have somebody pull your ski while the guy's on it, pushing.